Welcome to Entrepreneurs Lounge, and as usual, I'm your host Ingrid Nantege, and we're shooting at Dotage Home Exclusive Furniture in Westlands on Parklands Road. Now, unfortunately, we don't have any new faces for you on today's show, but before you get sad about it, we still have a very exciting show lined up for you. On today's show, we're going to look at inspirational stories, turnaround moments, and critical decisions made by entrepreneurs on this show. And we'll start off by looking at some of the episodes where entrepreneurs let us know how they arrived at the decision to go into entrepreneurship in the first place.
Actually, right now, people have it really easy and good right now. When I started, people did not understand what a makeup artist was. Everyone knew a salon. Like, I remember when I told my mom, I want to do makeup, she was like, you want to work in a salon? She did not get it. So my mom did not support me for so many years. I remember I had to go back to Meru for like a year and started selling charcoal. Because my mom was like, you're wasting time and my money in Nairobi, so just come back home, we figure out what you want to do. So my plan was to go back, get some money and come back. You know, just my mom had been paying my rent for a long time. So I went and came back. And when I came back, the industry was pretty harsh. You know, number one, I'm a woman, so women hate on each other. So women, I had no support. I was my own support system. Like, I remember my younger sister really supported me, but in terms of like getting gigs and stuff, it was so hard. I remember like doing one gig and then getting another one in like 2 months.
Wow.
I needed to pay rent and stuff like that. I went back to doing like odd jobs. Like, I remember I went to Korogosho and started selling onions and tomatoes, mtindwa in Buruburu. I have done all that. I started selling popcorn on the roadside and running away from city council. So that's how I survived. But the one thing that I've learned about this business, especially if you're a woman, you need to have guts. You need to have guts. Like, when I started, there were like 3 makeup artists, like me and 2 others. But now there's so many people who starting just for the money. People don't understand it. The money comes after. You have to put in the work. Like, for me, I believe I've paid my dues.
Right.
Like, right now, at times I wake up and I'm like, I call her and I'm like, I'm not coming to work. I'm off. My phone off. I'm like, I actually even told her this morning, I have paid my dues. I've earned it. You know, like 12 years is a long time. And you know, 12 years, like right now, people, you have social media. Everything is super easy, you know. You have Facebook and Instagram. I can do makeup, put up my picture, you know, make like 5K or whatever. When I started, there was no Facebook. You know, like I actually was hawking my services, hawking myself. So I remember before, like getting really good jobs, I would walk around salons and like managers would chase me away.
Wow.
They're like, what are you doing here? We're not hiring. I'm like, I'm not looking for a job. I'm looking for a way to partner. They're like, you're too young to partner in what? So I decided, let me just do it the professional way. I remember I would go to Posta, sit down with a pen and notebook. I would borrow transport like every day. So I was in so much debt, I can't even explain it to you. So I would note down like the 10 biggest salons in Nairobi. So I would call and be like, hi, my name is Rose. I'm a professional makeup artist. I would love to partner with you guys. You know, just the way my accent and I would just change everything. And then I didn't even have clothes to wear, like when they called me for a meeting. So I would call some friends who are my size and borrow clothes and shoes and then show up looking all professional. So I realized even the way you package yourself as a business person will determine how fast you grow.
A friend had given me 2,000 bob for my birthday. It was my birthday. And at the time, I was a volunteer with a Christian NGO. So I talked to my mentor about it. I told her I had been given this money. And because the organization that I was volunteering with at the time was going through financial crisis. It's an organization that deals with children in the slums. So I said I want to donate my money for the kids for food. And so my mentor said, instead of giving this money, because you will do it one time, why don't you start a small business whereby maybe after the business has grown, you can be giving the organization something small at the end of the month. And so I was like, what can I do with 2,000 bob? I don't know what business would be that. And so she told me there's an Indian shop at Hilton where they sell African souvenirs and their prices are not bad. Why don't you go pick a few stuff? And so I was like, wow, that's a good idea. And so I started off with a few bracelets.
My grandma gifted me a watch that I still have up to today. So when I went to campus, I used to just buy watches for myself. Then a friend of mine saw one of the watches and they're like, I want a watch. I'm like, well, I could get one because I was in Eldoret, in Moi University Eldoret. So I'm like, I could get you one when I go back to the city. They're like, no, actually we want to buy yours. I'm like, okay, sawa. If you have the money now, then give me the money. Then I'll just trade in my watch. Then I'll buy myself a watch. So they didn't have the money, but they were with a friend of theirs who had the money. So the friend bought the watch for themselves, like alirusha besh yake too. Like they just bought the watch, and then the other guy is like, yo, I'm the one who wanted the watch. So there was demand right there. So I needed 2 watches, mine and the guy's. It was actually called Gibson. Yeah, Gibson. So I came back to the city because I used to come often, and then I bought 2 watches. And then someone else saw, and it just became like a business, you know, but like low key, because I'm not selling watches, but someone sees it, where did you get the watch? Sue can get you. So then I bought like 5 of them when I was going back for my 2nd semester, and I sold them. Then I was like, Instagram is becoming the thing. I'm also on Instagram a lot. How about I just start a page, and then from there I can just be selling the watches and then delivering. Then interestingly, most guys who are buying the watches were from Nairobi. And where I was getting the watches was Nairobi. So I'm like, actually the problem is not that the goods are not available. Maybe it's just the customers are where I am at, you get? Because if they're in the streets, the watches, because I just buy the watches from the streets, like the cheap ones, like 200 bob. Then I'll tell you for like 8 sok. Right. So campus, I had some money to spare and all that. I used to get help. Then it became a business.
Events, that's a company we started with my partners called David Chalo back in 2013. But it used to be called Afrique Ventures. Then it came and we rebranded to Concepts and Events. I'm sure we're going to rebrand again soon into something much more exclusive. Like, you know, we were doing websites for organizations. Like, okay, sorry for that. I'm a graduate from JKUAT with a Bachelor of Science in Computer Science. And so we started doing websites for schools. We used to do systems for schools. And then with time, we started going to the corporate world, asking organizations, hey, can we do your websites? Then it's from there that we met a client who was interested in an event. And they're like, so do you know guys who do events? I'm like, yeah, we do events also. You know, when you're starting up, you're really adapting and adapting fast. So we were given an event. We executed it very well. And so someone who was there was from World Bank. So they're like, wow, you guys did this, yeah. We have an end of year party for staff. We're looking for an organizer. So would you mind doing this for us? I said, yeah, sure. So we went, we executed it, we did really well. Then from there, that's when jobs started coming in because, let me tell you, the moment you put World Bank as your client, I mean, even if someone looks at you and they're like, hey, you're very young, then you tell them, but I've worked for World Bank. And they say, no, you don't have experience, but I've worked for World Bank. So basically that's like tick, tick. And that's where our event started. Yeah.
Now, on this second part, we look at some of the challenges that our entrepreneurs go through on a day-to-day basis. Our main focus will be to look at these challenges and give you tricks on how to rise above them while still staying on top of your business.
The challenges, I believe I have not yet met a youth who has told me that the number 1 challenge is finances. Finding capital for your business as a youth in Kenya is not an easy task. You really have to go out there and find out what opportunities are open for you. Well, for me, I did go out there and find what opportunities are open for me to find the funds. But what I did is I took on employment opportunities. I made the sacrifice that whatever I got from my employment, or because I've actually not mentioned, before I even finished school, I used to hook earrings in school and tell people, yeah, I'm selling earrings, and then the profit I'll get, I'll put maybe into the documents we'd print in school. So I didn't start the entrepreneurship just spirit.
It dates back.
Yeah, it dates back. So you have to make sacrifices to get that funding for yourself, especially if you know you cannot be able to reach the funding that is accessible, because government does give funding for different business opportunities. And the facing criticism, as a youth, you'll always face criticisms, because well, you're a youth, and there's this stereotyping issue. And on top of that, if you're a woman, you're youth, you're woman. So it's like the world is against you already. Therefore, you have to stand firm. You have to be like professional when you're doing your job, so that someone can see, oh, this is someone who can deliver. It doesn't matter about the age. This is somebody who is ready to maintain ethics, is ready to provide the effectiveness on the job. And my final challenge has been when it's time to recruit.
Right.
Yeah, you're a first-time recruiter. So you have not done this job of recruiting, and you need to find the right talent. You know, this is something yours. Of course you want the best team.
Of course.
Yeah. So you have to find the right talent, and recruiting is not an easy task. No employer would ever tell you that recruiting is an easy task, because you're measuring somebody after maybe 5 interviews. You really don't know them. You get to know them on the job. Yeah. So you face a lot of people come in with great CVs, and then when it's time to deliver, there's nothing.
Well, you see, the art business, it has a lot of competition. You see a lot, and people are making very poor art, if I can say, and selling them for very cheap prices. So I may sell this painting at my cost, but there's someone else who has done it cheaply with cheap canvas, and then will sell it at a price like 700. So if a person comes to my shop and sees my cost and goes to another person and sees their prices, of course they'll go to, yeah. So that's actually a big challenge, and also competition, where a lot of people are painting. They're everywhere. There are people in Masai Market, Kenyatta Market, so many painters there. There are also a lot of galleries, Sarit, Village Market. So before you get yourself recognized and people can actually look for your art, it's quite a big challenge.
People think it's just a cliche that's thrown around. Entrepreneurship is never easy. People think it's, yeah, I might agree with them, it's never easy, because you have to dedicate lots of hours. You still have to take care of the bills now, like take care of the here and now, while you look for the long term. We use a joke and say, take care of the salary to pay your rent and things, but then look for the lump sums to buy the fridges, the microwave, to lamp your house, the cars, the water plots. So getting the balance around that, I think you need resilience for that, because very many times you get rejects, your things don't work out the way you want. Maybe you're running with something and then you find, oh, someone did this I didn't know and they're way miles ahead of me. So now you start thinking, how do I do it differently? Right. And at times, if you really don't have the grit to see it through, times your dream might die off, or you might. So resilience is one of the things you really need to embrace.
Talk to me about this journey. How difficult is it? Ingrid, I'm trying to start up a gym. What should I expect? What should I prepare for? How difficult is this journey of just being an entrepreneur?
First of all, as you have said, it is a huge investment. And in gym, you don't have to limit space. So getting a bigger space is a big challenge for me. And the business environment, the rent is too high, especially for such bigger space within the location that the business is. Secondly is the regulations that many entrepreneurs go through in this country. There are a lot of certifications for you before even you start a business. You haven't made your first shilling or your first profit, but there are a lot of certifications that you need to fulfill. So it's not easy for a young entrepreneur who probably don't have that capital, or he has the idea, but you know, there are those limitations here and there.
But what's work with no play? Just in time for our quick fire round. Now, Stephen.
Yes.
Sarah.
Yeah.
In this round, which we call the quick fire round, I ask 5 general business trivia questions. The trick is for one of you to get the right correct answer within 10 seconds of asking the question. The person with the highest correct answers at the end of the round is our quickfire king or queen. And like Stephen asked earlier, that title runs for a week. We have people who literally come and knock at our offices and say, how can I be your quickfire king or queen? So guys, no pressure, but please, the friendship ends within this round.
Do we win anything?
The title, the coveted title, okay? Are you ready?
We're ready, let's go.
And Stephen gets it. Bragging rights, coveted title. Are you ready? Let's go.
Born ready.
Quick fire round and question number 1. What was Lifebuoy soap called when it was first introduced in 1987? You know Lifebuoy, everyone knows Lifebuoy, the soap.
Yeah, that's soap that they send you to school with, boarding school.
Yes. The first time it hit the market, it wasn't called Lifebuoy soap. What was it called? I'll give you a hint. The name Life was there, but instead of boy, they had a different name. Like, for example, what would you call your friend? Another name for your friend, Life what?
Life mate.
No, close enough though. Like my friend, you know, like a casual
Life
friend.
buddy.
You said it?
That is so Ugandan.
Life buddy soap.
Life buddy soap.
Really? Are you sure you didn't read up on it?
After my hint.
Yes, Lifebuoy soap when it first Life Buddy. When Lifebuoy soap first hit the market, it was called Life Buddy soap.
Well, it's good they changed it.
Right? You wouldn't buy it. Quick fire question number 1. What's Kenya's current GDP? You want me to repeat this? Quick fire question number 1. Kenya's current GDP. 5 seconds, guys. Take a wild guess.
More than 5 trillion.
Say it. You can tell me in dollars.
Okay, that will be 5 trillion. 50 billion US dollars.
No, 74.94 billion US dollars. Yes.
So I missed by 25.
Which is a huge miss, if you ask me. Quick fire questions. Number 1. Who invented the light bulb?
Thomas Edison.
Wow, girl, you really did come to win. Because Thomas Edison. That's true. Quick fire question number 2. What is the most popular cereal brand in the world?
Kellogg's.
What? Jockey. Did someone give Jockey these questions? Quick fire question number 3. Boniface, come on. Yeah, you can do this. She told us earlier she doesn't like to lose, and clearly. Okay, quick fire question number 3. Who was the top fashion designer of 2018?
Fashion designer or fashion brand?
Designer of 2018.
Louis Vuitton?
No.
Oscar?
No. Donatella Versace, believe it or not.
How could I not get that?
How could you not? You're a designer.
That's the only thing I know. Wow.
Are you sure you should
Imagine.
be a designer? Right?
Yeah.
Quick fire question number 4. Forbes unveiled the world's highest musician of 2018. Who was it?
Was it a guy or a chick?
It was a girl. Her world's highest
Black or
paid
white?
musician
Black
of
or white?
2018. Black. Boniface! Woman.
Beyonce.
Black. Yes! You're cheating.
Okay.
Beyonce.
Boniface, you can't go out without at least one.
Maybe I'm
One.
not just that
This
kind
one,
of
this last one is the one that this is yours. Quick fire question number 5. What is the currency for Cuba? You know, like Kenya shillings. What is the currency for Cuba?
Okay, give me a
Starts
hint.
with a P.
P. Pesos.
Really? How do you do it? Wow.
I surrender.
I do too. Wow. 5-0. Honestly, that's a first entrepreneur's lounge.
Really?
No one has ever got all questions right.
First time for
Congratulations.
everything. Thank you.
Queen Jockey, you
Thank
are
you.
today's quick fire winner. Thank you for joining
But
us.
you took me
Boniface.
through the Cerelac, fashion,
You feel like there were biased questions?
somehow.
No, I apologize. But you saw her. She was ready. She came to compete. So that's season 1 of Entrepreneurs Lounge. We now have to take a little break. But when we come back, deeper stories, more success stories from entrepreneurs across Africa.